يا أيها النبي إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the especially merciful. How was the Prophet, peace be upon him, with his guests? And how was he as a host? And the concept of hospitality is not something that is widely practiced nowadays. How often do we invite people to our houses simply for the sake of bringing them joy, simply for the sake of serving them? Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, the wife of the Prophet, she says to the Prophet, she says, "By Allah, you keep the ties of kinship. You are truthful. You support the incapable person, such as the weak and the child. You give to the poor, and you honor the guest, and you help others during their calamities." And from honoring the guests, they would say that the Prophet, peace be upon him, was the most generous person. Now, how does this tie? What does generosity have to do with honoring the guests? They said that the Arabs, when they would talk about generosity, it was specifically linked to honoring the guest. So when you would say this person is generous, you were saying that this person is someone who honors his guest in a very, very beautiful way, in a very high and, great manner. And so they say from the most specific, Ibn Habban, he says, from the most specific aspects of generosity is to treat guests well. And the Arabs only considered generosity to be honoring a guest and feeding others. And whoever did not have these characteristics was not considered generous. And so they would say that the Prophet, peace be upon him, was the most generous person out of all the people, meaning that he was, the best of the people in honoring his guests. And Jabir ibn Abdullah, he says that the Prophet, whenever he was asked, whenever he was a host and people would ask him for something, he would never say no. And even if he didn't have much, he would split what he had. If he only had a few dates, he would give from those few dates. If he only had a little bit of milk, he would give you from that little bit of milk. And it is out of his mercy and compassion and his care for others. I ask Allah to grant us understanding and to guide us. Ameen.
يا أيها النبي إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا.